Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's sports podcast. It's Friday, the 27th of May 2022, and we've got a big weekend of sport, a big week of sport coming up ahead of us. So, without any further ado, let's get on with it. And we're going to start with the obvious story, really, which is the fact that Manchester City managed to win their fourth Premier League title in 5 seasons when they had an amazing comeback victory over Aston Villa on Sunday from 2 down. To win 3-2. At one stage, it looked like Liverpool were going to be a chance of snatching a title from them on the last day, and they kept up their end of the bargain after suffering also an early shock by going 1-0 down against Wolves to come back and win 3-1. But the City come back with 3 goals in I think 5 or 6 minutes, won them the title. Just as a Villa supporter as well as a Halifax Town supporter, I was disappointed that Villa threw the game away to some degree, but you can't really, having watched it, you can't say that such a good team, Manchester City. And they've got the quality to destroy anybody in that manner, really. Never mind Villa, so not such a bad thing at the end of the day. But they put up a good fight, and anyway, and City are deserved winners in my opinion. Liverpool will move on to this weekend, and we'll talk about that in a moment. At the other end of the table, Burnley were relegated. It was always going to be a close fight between them and Leeds on the last day, but Leeds managed to take a victory at Brentford. You could argue slightly fortuitously, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway because even a draw would have been good enough because Burnley were defeated at home by Newcastle by 2-1. At the end of the day, I'm not sure many people will be too disappointed apart from Burnley fans that they've gone down. Leeds have been ravaged by injuries really for most of the season. You could argue they've been a little bit unlucky, change of managership, but in reverse there, Burnley getting rid of Sean Dyche with 7 or 8 games to go. You could argue Mike Jackson's done a good job, and I think he probably has, but you've got to say that Dyche probably would have won those games as well if he'd have been the manager, so I'm not sure how much of a change it actually made. But it's unlucky for Burnley, good luck for Leeds, and that's how we go into next season. We've already got Fulham and Bournemouth up in the league next season into the Premier League, and this weekend sees the playoff finals as well, where we'll see at Wembley on Sunday at 4:30 whether Huddersfield or Nottingham Forest can join the Premier League next season. So that's one to tune into if you're interested in either of those teams, or you're just generally a fan of the Premier League. So well done again to Manchester City, and congratulations to Leeds on staying up, and commiserations to Burnley. Okay, moving on from that, this weekend we see the Champions League final take place in Paris, Liverpool versus Real Madrid. My gut feeling is that Liverpool will win. Real Madrid have done really well this season, but they've been a little bit lucky in the previous rounds, especially against Manchester City. They have got a way of eking out victories, so you can't just rule them out of winning the game. But my personal view is that Liverpool should win. I'd like to think that Virgil van Dijk's the player to stop Benzema. Manchester City did well at stopping Benzema for most of the last game, but then obviously the other guy came up, Rodrigo, and he did the damage. But that was, to me, it was a little bit fluky, to be honest with you. I'm not sure they'll repeat that. They haven't got the whole bulk of the Real Madrid fans behind them in their own stadium this time. It's more of a level playing field in that respect as well. So like I say, I fancy Liverpool to win. That's on BT Sport tomorrow night, I believe, 8 p.m. So okay, if you're looking forward to that, so good luck to Liverpool in that one. During the week, Roma won the inaugural Europa Conference League final. They beat Feyenoord 1-0. So Jose Mourinho becomes the first man to win all 3 of the European competitions, which is, it couldn't be anybody else, because it was the first one of the conference finals, so nobody else could have won that one anyway, but he's won all 3 of them. But amazingly, it was Roma's first European trophy, and I was amazed at that. I couldn't believe he'd never won anything before, so well done to them. It was a good match. Feyenoord put up a good fight in the second half, but just hadn't got the end quality to score that equaliser. So, yeah, well done to Roma. Okay, now moving on to things closer to my own heart. It's been a disappointing week for the world of FC Halifax Town. Losing the playoff eliminator match at home to Chesterfield on Tuesday, 2-1. Not a good performance by Town. They just didn't seem to be all there. The news that's come out since may have affected that, and there have been comments in the programme before the match from the chairman, which has not helped the situation either, as well in the views of many of the Town fans, stating that he was looking forward to playing York and Dorking, who were promoted last weekend through the Conference North and Conference South playoff finals, suggesting that means there's a lack of ambition or a lack of investment from the club. And that's now being coupled by the fact that manager Pete Wild has announced that he's leaving the club last night. It would appear that he may be going to Barrow, so if you're interested in his future and what he's going to do next, keep an eye on the Barrow official Twitter feed today, because they teased last night that it will be going there with a picture of the manager's office door open, and the desk So yeah, I think that may be his destination. But good luck to Pete. He's done a great job for Town while he's been with us. 3 years in charge. He took the team over 4 days before, something like that, before the start of the season. He had no players, he had to build from scratch after what happened with the debacle with Jamie Fullerton. And he took us to the playoffs in the first season. And we finished fourth, which is the highest ever finish, I think, in the league. In this league since God knows when, if ever, actually, because I'm trying to think what position we finished in when we got to the playoff finals in 2000 and was it 2007? But yeah, so it's it's disappointing that Pete's leaving, but he's done a great job, and all the best to him for the future. I'm just hoping he doesn't take a lot of our players with him. I mean, we need to make some changes anyway. There are areas where we certainly need to improve, but we've done so well this season. It's disappointing. So anyway, good luck to Chesterfield in the next game. Although I think they're going to need it because I'm not sure they're going to get past Solihull. They play Solihull away 12:30 Sunday in the semi-finals of the playoffs, and then on Saturday lunchtime tomorrow, Wrexham are at home to Grimsby at the Racecourse Ground. 12:30 kick-off again. So I'm thinking it's going to be a Wrexham against Solihull final at the London Stadium a week on Sunday, but you never know. Anything can happen in playoff games, and Grimsby proved that in their match against Notts County when they came from behind, so winning extra time 2-1, having scored the equaliser with more or less the last kick of injury time in normal time. So Grimsby won't go down without a fight. Wrexham are expected to win it. My personal feelings is I hope Wrexham do win it to get them out of the league because they've got so much money. Stockport have already gone. Wrexham have gone. They'll go if they go up. I know York are coming up, but it'll take them a while to stabilise in our league. I'm not sure they've got the pots of money that Wrexham and Stockport have anyway. So it'll make it a little bit more of an even playing field, I suppose. And as for Town's next manager, I've absolutely no idea. The only name I've seen mentioned so far is Jim Gannon, but I'm not sure that's based on any actual knowledge or inside intelligence. I think it's just gut feeling from someone who puts the fact that he's out of a job at the moment and he used to play for Town. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. But like I say, disappointing for Town, but he's on for next season. At least the fact that it's happened now means we've got plenty of time to prepare for the next season and to build again. But we do need to make sure that we get communications clear from the club to the fans to say what's going to be going on. We need to know season ticket prices as well to prepare for that as well, and so on. So yeah, let's see how it goes next season. Okay. So moving on from that is to mention also that this weekend, as well as the Huddersfield Forest game, Mansfield play Port Vale in their playoff final to try and reach League One. And last weekend, Sunderland beat Wickham at Wembley 2-0 to go back into the Championship. So they've done their bit. So we're coming to the culmination now of the English season, and then we've got the England Nations League games coming up, and obviously the playoffs for the World Cup. Scotland play next week against Ukraine. To decide which of them go on to face Wales and eliminated the following Sunday. So let's see who wins that. I mean, Andy Robertson said yesterday, I think if you were Scotland, everybody else is going to want Ukraine to win that game, and if he wasn't Scottish, he'd probably want Ukraine to win, which was quite funny, but a fair point. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. So we'll report on that game next Friday. And like I said, the England First Nations game I think is also on Wednesday, but I'm not sure about those. I haven't really looked at them. I know the first one against Italy at home at playing at Molineux actually is behind closed doors because of the incidents happened at Wembley at the Euro 2020 finals last summer. So disappointing there, but interested to see if Jared Bowen gets a chance. He's been called into the squad. He was a surprise call up perhaps, well, not so much of a surprise, I think he deserved it, but also James Justin from Leicester's in the squad. So that'll be an interesting opportunity for him as well, see if he gets a chance to play for England. It'd be good if he does. He was probably going to be in the Euro squads last year until he got that really bad injury. It's kept him out for lots of months. So good luck to James, and good luck to England in their 4 games. I think they've got this coming up this next 2 weeks. So yeah, great. Okay, moving on from football now, and we're going to talk about cricket, and we'll start as we always do with cricket with the Halifax Cricket League. Look back at last weekend's results, and there were some interesting results last week. I'll start with Bradshaw. Bradshaw and Brownie from Great Horton Park Chapel. If you're watching this, I apologise and try to make this as painless as possible. Bradshaw beat Great Horton Park Chapel by 10 wickets. They bowled Great Horton Park Chapel out for 69. Anthony Langton took 5 for 24. Great bowling performance there. And Usman Munir took 3 for 28. And then Bradshaw's openers, Crowther and Fisher, just knocked off the runs. Matty Crowther and Piers Fisher knocked off the runs, 7-2 without loss, so a comfortable victory there for Bradshaw, and that's it really on that one. and Sowerby Bridge, they were beaten by Booth, or Booth got the better of them. Booth scored 211 for 6. The main contributor for Booth was Rob Laycock. He scored 79. He's been in good form so far this season. And then when it comes down to Sowerby Bridge's turn to bat, it was John Brown was the only one that put any resistance together really. He scored an unbeaten 32, but Sagir took 4 for 44 for Booth to see them home comfortably really. As like I said, Booth got 211 for 6, and Sowerby Bridge scored 177 for 8 in their attempt to try and chase it down, but they didn't really get near it, unfortunately. Illingworth beat Whalley by 7 wickets. Whalley batted first, they scored 165 for 7. Gareth Standeven scored 42 and Nolan Bottomley scored 38. That was a good opening partnership, but other than that there wasn't a lot of support further down the innings, and another good bowling performance from Matty Smith, Illingworth captain. He took 4 for 31. And then when Illingworth went into bat, they knocked off a total for loss of 3 wickets. And another man who was in good form, Gaz Fellows, he scored an unbeaten 100. 100 out of 166 for 3. So basically, he carried him home on his own effectively to some degree. So well done to Gaz there, and that's a good result for Illingworth. Copley beat defending champions Myvenroyd by 8 wickets. Myvenroyd batted first, scored 160 for 9. Runa Razak had an unbeaten 44, and Tom Earl also scored 41. And all the bowlers chipped in for Copley, with Ian Hartley and Alex Rowles both taking 3 wickets each. And then Copley knocked off the runs, 162 for the loss of just 2 wickets. They lost 2 early wickets for 11 runs. In fact, they lost the first 2 wickets. But Nathan Kenworthy had an unbeaten 102, and he was the man that saw them over the line comfortably. So yeah, good result there for Copley. SBCI beat Triangle by 44 runs in a very low scoring game. SBCI batted first, they scored 119 all out. Aaron scored 46, he was the top scorer. And another good bowling performance from Nathan Madden. He took 5 for 47 to go for his 5 for 41, I think it was the previous week. So he's bowling well at the moment. There's been some good bowling performances as well as batting performances this season, very good. And then when it came round to Triangle's turn to bat, they were all out for 75, and it was Oliver Benson who took 5 for 29 to decimate basically Triangle. So it made it a fairly comfortable victory in the end for SBCI. Then the final game from last weekend, Thornton beat Ludfoot by 86 runs, and the difference between the two sides, Thornton batted first, they scored 209 all out, but Josh Hutchinson 82 was probably the difference. If you look at the margin of victory of 86, 82, more or less that margin, he was the difference between the two teams. Although Tom Oscar, he took 6 for 53, he's had a couple of good performances this season as well, so he did his best to try and keep Ludfoot in the game. But when he came round to batting, they were all out for 123. And Ross Parr was the man doing the damage with the ball. He took 5 for 37, and the only real resistance from the Ludfoot batting lineup was from Liam Senior, who scored 35. So a good week of cricket there, and we move on to tomorrow now. And the big game this weekend that's been talked about is Booth home to defending champions Myvenroyd. That's always a big game in that area. So best of luck to both teams there, and hope for a good game of cricket. Bradshaw at home to Thornton. That will be a tough game for Bradshaw. Thornton are in good form at the moment. Copley are at home to Great Horton Park Chapel, who will be looking to bounce back from last week. Ludfoot are at home to Illingworth. Triangle are at home to Sowerby Bridge, and Whalley are at home to SBCI. So yeah, the forecast looks good actually for tomorrow. So I'd like to think we'll get some good performances, good games in tomorrow as well, and we'll be back next week with an update on exactly what happens in tomorrow's matches. I think I also need to mention that it's the next round of the Parish Cup on Sunday as well, so people that are still in that, you know what games you've got, so just bear that in mind if you're going along to watch one of those games. Okay, now before we move on to cricket, just mention that England have their first test starts next week on Thursday. They're taking New Zealand at Lords. Starts on Thursday, like I say, the 2nd of June. We're interested to see what changes are made, whether Harry Brook gets in the squad. Talking about Harry, Yorkshire are playing T20 tonight, and they're playing Lancashire in the Roses game, and they've had one game so far Wednesday night, and they've won, and it was Harry Brook who won in the match basically with 60 unbeaten 60, and there were runs chipped in by, I think Live got 40, Root 35 and Milan 33, and they won, I think they won by 7 wickets, something like that. But yeah, good start, but obviously it's a different kettle of fish. T20 is totally different to the rest of the games they play, and it's against Lancashire tonight, so come on Yorkshire is all I can say. And boo to Lancashire. Right, thanks for that. Okay. In moving away from cricket now to rugby league, and it's the Challenge Cup final this weekend. Huddersfield take on Wigan tomorrow at Wembley. Sorry, not Wembley, at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Huddersfield for Town obviously are playing at Wembley on Sunday in the playoffs, so it's a good weekend for sport for Huddersfield people. Some people will be going to both, no doubt, staying over and hoping for a double victory. But we'll see what happens. A big blow for Huddersfield, I heard last night, was that Theo Farge is out of the game. He's a big player for Huddersfield, so whether that will damage the chances of winning, I'm not sure. I think personally, although I want Huddersfield to win, I think Wigan may win, but you never know. Again, it's a cup final, anything can happen. It's happened that time when Wigan lost to Sheffield. So anyway, Dave Heatherwhite, I know you're going tomorrow, so I hope you enjoy the game, and whoever you want to win wins the match. And you might not even care, you just want to get drunk and have a good time. Good, fair play to you. Away from the Challenge Cup in the Championship, Halifax won at York last Sunday after being 18-6 down after about 25 minutes. They fought back and won by 40 points to 24. Lachlan Walmsley again being at the heart of that. I think he got a hat-trick of tries, so he's doing really well. Him and Jouffre have done really well since coming from Whitehaven. They've performed well. Halifax have moved up the table nicely. They're fourth. Just behind York, we're still in third. It's going to be difficult to catch Featherstone or Leigh. They're the two best teams. And Featherstone obviously are playing this weekend in the 1895 final, so I don't really like Featherstone, so whether they're playing, good luck to them. I'm not really about the 1895 final because I forgot about it to be honest with you, but anyway, it's good for the lower league teams. And that's it for Rugby League. Moving on to Speedway now, and I went to Sheffield last night to watch Sheffield ride Bellevue. I was hoping for a Bellevue victory. They got hammered, they were really poor. Bellevue tweeted this morning saying they threw the kitchen sink at Sheffield. They were a good team at home. They are a good team. They've got some great riders. The track wasn't the best. It was slick. There was no passing. Because it had rained, they didn't water it. But it didn't rain enough to make the track even and make it... There was plenty of grip. There was plenty of dirt on it, but it didn't seem to create any grip. So it was all gate and go really. I think there were 3 passes in the whole meeting, and Sheffield won by 54 points to 36. Max Frick, disappointing. He got 9, but he had conceded 2 5-1s in his first 2 rides. Maybe his mind were on the Grand Prix this weekend, unfortunately, which is not right, really, but hey. So, but then again, Brady Kurtz had bad luck. He had a chain come off at starting one race when they put Matty Zagar as a tack sub. He wasn't so good either. He only scored 5. Kurtz got 4. Charles Wright rode well. He got 10. And Brennan rode fairly well as well. He got 6. And the young German lad did all right, but just lacked the firepower at the top end, really. And Sheffield just kept gating. Musalak, after a duck in his first ride, I think won his way for 4 rides for Sheffield, and Kyle Howarth rode well as well, but including a really good pass round the balls. But to be fair, it was on the second bend of the first lap, so it didn't really. I don't count passing it first 2 bends. There were probably 3 proper passes in the whole meeting, which wasn't great. So disappointing. Ipswich beat Wolves by 2 points, so they won. You got 5-1. Batchelor, I think, and Doyle got 5-1 in the last race. To win the meeting for Ipswich over Wolverhampton, but they are for Sheffield, Bellevue, Ipswich and Wolverhampton look like the teams making the running. Kings Lynn look alright. Peterborough struggled so far. They're the 6 teams in the league. Just to mention also, the first round of the Premier League pairs took place at Peterborough on Monday just gone, and that was won by Kings Lynn. Josh Pickering and Richard Lawson won that for them. So well done to them. That's the first of 6 rounds on each tracks. It's been shown on the British Speedway Network, which is a streaming service you can buy and pay for monthly to see those rounds, plus many of the championship meetings. So if you're interested at that level of Speedway and want to watch the pairs meetings, you can get a subscription by looking up the British Speedway Network on Twitter, and it'll show you how to subscribe if you're interested in doing that. The next round of the Grand Prix is tomorrow night in Prague, round 3, and then we've got round 4 the following week in Teterow in Germany. We've announced that Kai Huckenbeck will be the wild card for the round in Germany. So something to look forward to this next couple of weekends for Speedway fans. We've got the Formula 1 Motor Racing Grand Prix of Monaco this weekend. Obviously it's the traditional one. I think it's probably the least exciting of them all because the circuit isn't conducive to good racing. But traditionally it's been there for a long time. The biggest argument this weekend seems to be about whether Lewis Hamilton can wear his earrings or not. Personally, I don't care if he wears his earrings or not. I just want to see a good race. And if I've got time to watch it, I'm not sure I will. I'm not that bothered about Formula 1 to be honest with you, but I watch it when there's nothing else on as it stands at the moment. Okay, stock cars this weekend. We've got a World Championship qualifying round at Odsal Stadium in Bradford tomorrow night. We've got 50 cars booked so far, possibly 51. If you follow stock cars closely and you watch the YouTube videos from the BSCDA, you'll have seen a 2-part off-track interview with Craig Finnikin about his new car, the reveal of his new shale car, which is going to debut hopefully tomorrow night. He's booked into race at Odsal. and he's also won a 3-part off-track special with Lee Fairhurst. Now, they were saying he was struggling to get the parts for his engine for his new car. There've been 2 parts of these 3-part off-track interviews shown so far. The 3rd part's tonight, but it was announced on late on Wednesday evening by Your Stocks, who run the promotion at Odsal, that his parts have arrived and he's hoping to race tomorrow night. So he hasn't booked in officially as such, but he's hoping to be able to race tomorrow night. So I've not seen the reveal of the car is going to be on the BSCDA YouTube channel tonight. So it's been timed quite nicely. Maybe there were a little bit of a kidology involved here. I'm not sure if there was. But so Finnikin and Fairhurst could both be racing tomorrow night, and they're probably the 2 remaining big guns that haven't raced so far this season. So it'll make it a good meeting when they're racing alongside the likes of Wayman and Harris and Harrison, and also Matt Newson as well. So he's in good form this season. So should be a good meeting tomorrow night. It's just a shame it clashes with the Champions League final and the speedway as well. So disappointing there, but yeah, should be a good meeting. Next, we're going to look at the darts, Premier League darts. It was last of the weekly rounds last night, and in the direct shootout for the last spot in the semi-finals, Joe Cullen beat Peter Wright, I think by 6 legs to 4 in last night's quarter-finals. So he's through to join James Wade, Michael van Gerwen and Johnny Clayton, defending champion, in semi-finals, which take place in, I think it's in Holland, on the 13th of June, Monday the 13th of June. So that's something to mark in your diary for a big darts fan and follow the Premier League. Michael Smith won last night's round, and eventually won the final. I think he beat Johnny Clayton in the final 6 legs to 3, but he's already out, so it was like a consolation victory. But well done to him for at least fighting to the end and putting on a show even though we're already out. So yeah, that's something to look forward to in a couple of weeks' time. And I think that's about it for this week. So I hope you've enjoyed watching as always. If you've got any comments about anything I've talked about this week, or anything else you'd like to add or I might have missed, just let me know in the comments below. And as always on YouTube, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to make my videos more accessible to more people. So thanks again, and goodbye for now.